Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're looking at Metis. It is a layer 2 solution and it has been around actually since 2021, and it has performed in previous bull runs as you can see, and it did perform recently in 2024 as well, and it has actually made the pretty good correction and it's up around 16% today, but I think it still does have a pretty good potential. And if we compare it to other big layer 2s, it is still is a low market cap compared to others, so I think it may actually have some potential. So we'll actually talk about various things about Metis and why it could actually go up. So please feel free to skip to any section you would like. So let's get started. So first of all, what is Metis? Metis is basically a layer 2 like others, so they do have a pretty good ecosystem as well. Metis is a permissionless layer 2 network powering the next generation of decentralized applications. So it is basically super fluid, self-sustainable blockchain, and they have done actually over 16 million transactions, which is a pretty good number. It's around 17 million total blocks. They have total wallets of around 846,000, which is a pretty big number, and these are their latest fees as well, and their TVL is around 640 million. But that number I think is a little bit misleading, because according to the DeFi Llama, it's not that much. As you can see, it's only 76 million, and I'm not sure why they have actually shown this. So basically they actually have a pretty good, pretty sustainable developer programs where they actually empower their developers through fundings, and those funding are decided by the by the community, so that is pretty good. So in their advantage actually are, first of all, their decentralized ecosystem governance, which is pretty good. The network is secure, it is scalable, it is the integration is pretty simple. It then storage is also affordable, it is the transactions are fast, and they have a pretty good low fees as well. So and it is actually built for the people, led by the community, which is pretty good because they have something called community ecosystem governance. Through that, projects can actually become verified through community, which is pretty good. That means that actually increases the trustability of that project, which is pretty good, I think. And as of now, if you look here, Metis has committed over 250k tokens to the grants in 2024, which is a pretty massive amount. If you look at the Metis price, it's around 78, so that is a pretty massive amount in terms of that. So as you can see here, which is pretty good as well. So after that, they actually have approved partners as well. As you can see, for this these grants as well, we have Wagme, we have DeFi Kingdom, which is a pretty big game on Harmony, I believe. We also have Hercules as well. So in terms of here, they have actually pretty big ecosystem. We will discuss that in a separate section. And after that, it is actually reaching all over the world, as you can see here. So how does their layer 2 works? So we have different actors. First of all, the user sends a transaction. It goes to the block producers. He is responsible for correcting the blockchain, and actually after that we have Memo Labs. It stores option data. After that, they have something called sequencer. They do give rewards to them in terms of Matic, which is a pretty good. Also after that, we have verifier, and in the end goes through the layer 1 as well. So, and they also have governance protocol. We are responsible for anything related to the efficiency of the system, which is pretty good as well. I won't be going into the deep, but that's how it works. So in terms of Metis ecosystem, it's pretty big. If you look here, we have Aave, we have Humus, which is an exchange. We also have Hamas, which is an exchange as well. We have other exchanges. We even have Chainlink here as the Oracle. And we have also Wagme, a decentralized exchange with advanced liquidity provision strategies, which I think actually got a pretty good grant as of now. And if you just go here and if we scroll down, that is a pretty big ecosystem, and they have been around actually since 2021, and I think that actually matters. And they have been actually developing and slowly increasing day by day. If we look at their DeFi Llama, just a second, so their peak TVL was around 443 million, as you can see. and as of now it has actually been increasing slowly. If we just focus on the as you can see here, it has been actually growing rapidly. It actually did hit a low in November 2023, as low as I think it was around 24 million, and as of now it actually did hit the peak of 93 million, and it's around 76 million. And if you just look here, we have the Aave, which is a multi-chain, of course. That is the biggest one as of now on there, but they have pretty big other solutions. We have Artemis Finance, which is a liquidity staking solution, which means the demand for Metis does increase because of this liquidity staking. We also have Enki protocol, which also is a liquidity staking platform that also has around 7.86 million, and this one also has 12.92 million. So that means if we do actually sum these both them up, we have around 20 million Matic into actually the liquidity staking, which is pretty good. And as you can see, we have actually big numbers. The second biggest one has actually seen over 2000% up, which is a pretty big event. This one actually has seen 200%, and we have a 100%, which is a pretty big increase. From the looks of it, we have actually a pretty good growth in the Metis ecosystem, and which is most likely the reason why Metis has been actually recently doing pretty good. And I think if this continues, we may actually see a big pump for the Metis, because they do have something called community ecosystem governance, which is basically they have very much active votings. If you look here, so we have 3 votings going on here, and I think these votings do happen daily or 2 or 3 days, which is a pretty massive, because through this the Metis does have a pretty good demand, because Metis itself is actually required for the voting, which is pretty awesome, and their governance is pretty active, which I think is pretty good. So if we just here, what happens is that CEG is a decentralized voting framework to govern Metis. It empowers people like you or the holder of the Metis to use votes and influence the ecosystem. It is open to all Metis community members and developers. So developers who are actually interested in the Metis ecosystem are mostly active on the governance. Those who care about and want to take part in the decision of the impacting Metis. So basically, whoever wants to actually impact the Metis, they can actually do the voting, and which is a pretty good thing. And I think they do have actually got a project already on a Metis network. They can actually get it verified, which is a pretty good thing, and I think that is something no other project is doing, as long as I know, because I have not seen this community verified project anywhere else. So I think that is pretty awesome for this Metis. So let's move ahead to its tokenomics and see what's happening there. So in terms of its tokenomics, or the tokenomics of the Metis, I think that is the best one in terms of layer 2, because it has a max supply of 10 million, which is pretty low, and it has a circulating supply of around 5.6. so if we just go to its supply, this is a breakdown of supply. So as of now, we have around 4.7% supply given to the transaction mining, which is basically sequencer mining or sequencer rewards from the looks of it, or from what I could find. Basically, any users can actually start mining, or they can actually become the Metis node, and they can actually get the reward and returns as well. So they do have a pretty big they do require lock Metis tokens to actually become the sequencer, which is additional utility for this coin. So this is something actually this is actually what actually makes the Metis a little bit different. So Metis is the first layer 2 running a decentralized sequencer, which is, I think, pretty unique to Metis. This achieves full decentralization in the layer 2 networks, eliminating single point of failure and properly aligning incentives across all network participants. So they are actually giving them reward in terms of this. And if you look here, most of the Metis supply has actually been given, which is a pretty awesome. And I think the sale pressure the Metis has seen in the past, I don't think that it will see the sale pressure more in the future, because if you look here, we have actually vested the investor tokens throughout, which is pretty good. So most of the investors may have already sold, or even those who are holding, those I think are into the Metis network for the long term, so they may not be selling their token in the future. So as of now, if you look here, the unlocked supply is around according to this actually page, it's around for 7.3, but the circulating supply is somewhere around 5.6. So by 2023 we will have the total supply in the circulation, which is around 10 million. So we still have around, I think, 7 years to go for this rest of the supply to come out, which is pretty awesome. So in the long run, I don't think that we have that much sell pressure for this Metis. Still, it's the almost half of its supply, but I don't think that actually will impact its price in the future, because the supply release is merely around 6.99k as of now, which is pretty low, and I think that is pretty awesome for this coin. And this will actually continue till 2021, which is pretty awesome. So in terms of the Metis utility, it is actually used for governance. The first thing is that it can be used to vote here, as you can see here. After that, it is actually used for the transaction fees on their network. That is pretty good. It is also used for locking or becoming a staker to become a sequencer. To become a sequencer, any users can actually start mining on Enki or Artemis. They can do that here as well, which is pretty awesome utility, and I think that is pretty awesome for this coin. And I think in the long run, as the ecosystem grows, I think we also have fees as well, and in the long run I think we'll have a lot of stakers actually doing the staking, which is pretty awesome. That means the demand for the Metis in the long run will increase as long as their ecosystem start to increase, and their ecosystem is actually increasing slowly. If we just look at the DeFi Llama, they have been actually increasing slowly, as you can see, and I think that actually matters. And they also have the ecosystem funding, which is pretty awesome. So I think in the long run, as long as we see the growth in the users on the Metis, I think the demand for the Metis will increase rapidly, which is pretty awesome. So in terms of Metis stats for the blockchain or for their network, if you just here, these are the transactions. So I think these are the monthly transaction. If you look here, so they have been actually doing pretty good. Just a second. So as you can see, the demand for the Metis network has actually increased recently, and in the December, this is a January. After that we have a Feb, after that we have a March, and it went down in April and even in the May, but still it's pretty good. So if we just look at the addresses, so these are the unique addresses. If you just look here, and they have been actually growing. So they have actually seen a pretty big growth since Feb. As you can see, we had around 578k, and now we saw a pretty massive growth around 300k in just 3 months, which is a pretty massive one, and I think that actually matters. And after, if you just look at the active addresses, which is a pretty awesome as well. Just a second, I'll go to the monthly. As you can see, we have pretty good active addresses in the monthly chart. We did see a peak in April, but in May, as of now, I think we have actually gone down in the numbers, but I think it will most likely go up once in the January in the July, or even the June, once we have more demand for the Metis or even for the Ethereum itself, and that could actually happen. So overall, I think the demand for the Metis is there, and it is actually slowly increasing. I think corrections is a part of the market, as you can see here. Last year we saw a correction after the June, and it actually corrected itself till November, and after that it started to go up again. So I think it is a pretty good to have correction in the market, and I think it is same for the Metis, but still the demand for the Metis overall has been actually increasing, which is pretty awesome for this coin. So looking at this price prediction and price analysis, first of all, I think the Metis itself is still undervalued. The reason being is that if we compare it with against the other layer 2s, if you look here, we have Immutable with around 3.7 billion market cap. We have Mental with around 3.3 billion market cap. We have Stake, we have Arbitrum, we have Optimism, Stocknet, even Scale, and after that we have Metis. I think the Metis does actually deserve the market cap of around at least 1 billion, because its ecosystem is actually growing rapidly, and I think that actually matters. So if you look here, this is the market cap of the Metis. It actually peaked around, I think, 700 million, and I think it could actually end up hitting 1 billion, and if it does, I think the price will most likely go price will most likely go through the roof, and I think that will be pretty good. But if you look here, this is the market cap and this is the price. So the Metis has seen increase in supply, and due to which it has not been actually able to hit its previous high, which was around 300, as you can see here. Even though the market cap was the same, and the price did not go that much up. That is most likely, I think, because of the increase in supply, and as of now its supply is actually slowly increasing, which is pretty awesome. So we have seen the sell pressure of these actually increases, as you can see here, which was, I think, very important if the Metis did wanted to go up, I think. And as we have seen these vestings actually, these log tokens have been actually unlocked, and I think that is pretty good. And I think now the Metis could actually go up if we have buyers in the market. So if you look here, its recent peak is around 149 million, and as of now it's going actually up. And if we look here, it's actually making just a second. So if you look here, I think it is actually trying to go up, but we do have a resistance. So if you are in the market as of now and looking to get into this token, I think it is better to wait once this actually breaks this 85 resistance, and I think which is a pretty important one. As you can see, this is a pretty massive resistance, so it needs to actually break that. After that, we do have a resistance around somewhere 104, and after that I think we do have a resistance around 116. After that we have a resistance around 149. So if it does end up breaking this resistance, I think we are heading towards $100. After that 116, or after 134. So in the long run, I think as the Metis ecosystem is growing, and once the layer 2s actually do go up, as you can see, as of now we have the layer 2 season. It's not that much because these are only up around 23%. We have Arbitrum going about 24% in the last 7 days. I think once we see a big gains like 100% up gain in the Arbitrum and 100% up in the Optimism, and even in the mental, I think that is when the Metis could actually shine and could actually beat them in the future, because the unlike these Metis has a very low market cap. If you look at 448 million, and if you look at 3 billion, there is a lot of difference. So even if the Metis does end up hitting, let's just say it hits 1.2 billion, so that means from here on the price will actually 3x. So potentially we could actually end up hitting over $200, which is a pretty good thing, and I think that could actually happen once there is a demand for the Metis. But I think this coin is for the long term hold, and if you are planning to hold this coin for a long term hold, it is better to wait for the correction, because again in the past it has actually seen a big dumps, as you can see, going from 173 to as low as $11. So it is better to wait for it to come actually to a proper price. So the first price which I'm looking at, and I think that is a pretty good entry, is around $27 to $22. So as of now I think it is it has actually gained pretty much, but I think entering here would not be a good idea. But if you are risky, if you are in the market and actually want to enter into the market as of now, I think it is actually at least better to wait till the price actually comes around $50. That is the first entry, which I think is it's not solid, but I think that could be actually proper entry if you are looking into the market around $50 to $43. But as of now it has actually gained so much, I don't think it's actually worth getting into this coin as of now. But I think if you want to take a risk, I think at least wait for it to come around 50 to 53, and in the long run I think it could actually end up hitting $2 or even more than that once its market cap does actually breaks the 1 billion mark. And if you just analyze its market cap, it has been growing. If we look here, it actually hit a low as 47 million, and after that it has been growing rapidly. As you can see, it did make a recent correction, which was from just a second, 700 million to 300 million, but I think it will actually make another correction once the BTC does go down. So I think it is better to wait for it to come to $50, and after that, this is my second entry, and after that we do have a pretty good low entry around somewhere here around $16 to $14, which is pretty good. And in the end, I think we have a pretty good entry around $11. So I think in the long run, this coin does have a pretty good future. But in the short run, I think even if it does go up, it is a pretty risky entry. So it is better to wait for it to come at least to $50 to $43 mark, which is a pretty good entry for this coin. So overall, yeah, I think this coin does have a pretty growing ecosystem. Even if you look at the Metis ecosystem, it has been actually growing. I think that is pretty awesome. But this coin is a for the long run hold. It is for the long term hold, and it is better to wait for it to come these ranges rather than entering here. But if you are interested in entering in this coin as of now, I think I will just mark that level as well. So in case you are interested, I think you could actually enter there. So if you are interested in this coin, I think this coin will actually hit $60 in just 2 or 3 days. If the BTC does actually just hangs around 70k, I think this will make a correction. As of now, it's going up, but if we don't see that much demand, it will most likely come back somewhere around here, and you can actually enter there, because if this is a pretty good demand zone, if it does come around $58 I think it will most likely pump back, or it could actually pump back once it hits $63 as well, because we have a pretty good support here. But that is a riskier entry if you are into a short-term trade. I think the first entry, I think, which could be pretty good is around here. If you are into a short-term trade, I think you can actually enter around 70 to 69 mark dollar point, and after that you can actually enter around, you can do the DCA at these points. This is for the short term, you have to remember. So you can enter at this point, at this point, and at these points if you are looking into the short-term trade. So I think it could actually end up pumping here, so you can sell it once it hits again $85 or even $100. You can actually sell it as it goes up. But I think these are the short term, these entries are for the short term trade. If you're looking to get into this coin, I think these entries could be pretty good, and you can actually make quite a good profit if it does go back. But if the BTC does go down, I think we are moving actually towards these entries which I just drew. So this was it. I hope you liked the video. I will be back with more. Thanks for watching.